Maya, have you checked the mailbox? You received some mail, seems like it's from the legal authorities, Alexander said, examining the envelope with surprise. Maya retrieved the letter, read it, and burst into laughter. My dear mother filed for child support for me. You said you were an orphan. Your parents, geologists, died in the mountains. You were raised by your distant aunt, an old spinster. I don't understand, do you have a living mother? Alexander exclaimed. Most likely, I do, since she suddenly remembered me, Maya replied. Let's have dinner, and oh, fetch the cognac, I'll tell you everything, it's going to be a long conversation. Alexander thought he knew everything about Maya. They had been living together for a year, but apparently not. Well, I'll tell you the details of my life, if there's anything you don't like in my biography, I won't hold you back. Besides, we never went to the registry office, so there's no commitment. Our large family lived in a small village. I was the oldest, followed by 3 brothers. As far as I can remember, it was my sacred duty to look after them, changing their diapers at first, and as they grew up, their shorts and tights. All of this needed to be washed. Diapers were a luxury for us. We only used them for visits to the clinic. Mother didn't stay with any child for long, she went to work at the bakery, while my paternal grandmother watched over us. She was already elderly and could barely move, so I had to help out too. Father would come home just to eat and sleep. He either worked or hung out with friends in the garage. There was beer and stronger stuff in the garage. I can't even remember his voice. I was 11, my brothers were 6, 4, and the youngest was 2. I still hate laundry. The smell of wet laundry makes me sick. We didn't have a washing machine. The laundry basket filled up quickly. From constant washing and cheap detergent, my hands swelled and cracked. I asked Mother to buy rubber gloves. You'll get used to it, was her response. The gloves were given to me by a neighbor. She saw my hands when I was hanging laundry outside in the summer. She was such a kind woman. She also gave me allergy pills. I studied straight A's. I don't know how I managed to study. At home, there was yelling, noise, kids running around like crazy, but somehow I managed. Mother constantly pressured me. I don't remember her ever hugging me or calling me affectionately. It never happened. Every day. She gave me tasks and left. And God forbid, if I forgot something or didn't have time to do it, I got it full force. I still can't understand how you could call your only, obedient and docile daughter such words. I had a very good and kind homeroom teacher. Her name was Mrs. Elena. She taught us Spanish. I tried to stay in school for as long as possible. She noticed that and willingly worked with me extra. I knew Spanish better than anyone. You have very good language abilities. You must continue your studies, she told me before I finished school. What studies? My mother immediately thwarted my good intentions. I lived without institutions. And you'll manage without them. I've already arranged for you to work as an apprentice at the store for 2 months, and then immediately full-time. The family needs money. No appeals, she declared. Mrs. Elena came to persuade my mother. Useless. Yes, she herself looked at our chaos and realized the futility of her efforts. Mrs. Elena became my good fairy. She called her sister on the other side of the country. Gave money for the trip. We must act without delay. Language quickly fades without regular practice. Her sister lives alone. She teaches at the Institute of Foreign Languages. She'll help. Mother had a hysterical fit. She hid my passport. But my younger brother saw where and showed me. I left. Mother said I should forget about the family. She no longer has a daughter. And father, as always, was somewhere off to the side. Grandmothers were gone. I went to Mrs. Anna's. Mrs. Anna was an old maid. She treated me very well. Much better than my mother. I still visit her and help out. She's quite elderly now. I lived with her for the first 2 years. Studied, and studied again. I was ashamed to disappoint my teacher. In the evenings, I cleaned the floors and the stairwells of our own building. After graduating from the institute with honors, I work as a teacher at a technical school. I've been tutoring a lot and successfully. Bought an apartment on mortgage. I only went home once, when we buried father. I couldn't reconcile with my mother. She didn't even let me stay the night. She wasn't interested in my successes. She was only outraged that I didn't help the family with money. About a year later, my youngest brother was gone. Died from an overdose. The older ones drink, whether they work or not, it's unclear. They live with mother. And that's who she feeds on her pension. Apparently, it's not enough. I lied about the geologist parents spontaneously when I saw yours. You have such a proper, simple, exemplary family. And what would I tell them about myself? Maya finished her confession. My poor you. I always admired how proud and strong you are. And I couldn't imagine that your life was so difficult. Well, now I know about you, I hope, everything. And it's time for us to go to the registry office. I'm proposing to you, said Alexander. Postscriptum. The court refused to grant alimony to Maya in favor of her mother, as her mother's pension was significantly higher than the subsistence minimum, and it was quite enough to cover her living expenses.